Hello, this is Fernando Valenzuela from Colombia, TESOL 2017 for EdTech Times Latin America. And I'm here with Ana Maria from Universidad de La Sabana. Ana Maria, why don't you begin just explaining the role that you play in the university and a little bit about the university itself?
Okay, Universidad de La Sabana is a private university on a beautiful campus north of Bogota, and some faculties have been just celebrating their 40th anniversary, but it's a fairly new university. It has a great deal of interest in creating social impact in the region where we are, which is slightly rural, and certainly there are many deprived communities around the university.
So the whole idea of transformation in the university, the whole idea of including technology, and you just told me a little bit about some of the efforts that you're doing. Can you tell me a little bit of some of these workshops that you're working with the teachers, some of these reactions? How is that transforming in Sabana?
Well, I think there are like two areas of work. One is our work within the university, and the other is what we're trying to do outside of the university. So in the university, I think there is a great deal of interest in transforming education, the way classes are taught, how technology is used. We're starting to have blended or even completely virtual programs. I work with the Department of Foreign Languages and Cultures, and we actually have a master's in teaching English that is a face-to-face program and also a virtual program. And the emphasis is on autonomy, so we really want our teachers to become autonomous and therefore help their students become autonomous English language learners. Outside the university, then, we also have extension programs to work with teachers, with schools, to help them transform their practices. But what we find is that it's really hard. It's really hard. I think that teaching, unlike other businesses, is sometimes fairly stable. We sort of think that the niche is there. We have the clients, and sometimes the competition is not as fierce as perhaps in other businesses, and so sometimes there doesn't seem to be the need to transform practices, and we continue thinking. We have this illusion that we are preparing students for the future, but I think perhaps for the first time in history, we are preparing students for a future that is completely unknown to us. An example is that I have a friend whose son studied in the university a program that did not exist when he was in 10th grade. But when he graduated, the gastronomy program started here at the university, so he actually studied a career that when he was making a career decision didn't even exist. And I think that's what we're finding, blended careers, changes in careers throughout your life. It used to be that we thought we would work in the same company all our lives, and now not only do we not work in the same company in our lives, sometimes we change careers 3 or 4 or 5 times during our lifetime. So it's a very exciting time, and yet I think it's also necessary for us as teachers to embrace these changes and transformations and realize that the kids are just not the same. And as you were saying in your talk, that we have both things, right? Incredible access to technology and incredible poverty, where there is absolutely no technology. And so we have to find a way to balance that and to find ways of ensuring that the people who need it the most get the education that they need.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and also your peers in the university. How would you get new ideas? How are you exposed to new technologies? How do you lead your own thought process to transform yourself and to help others being transformational in education?
That's difficult. It's difficult because I think there is a collective imaginary about especially university professors knowing everything. And if you know everything, then it's very difficult to change because you know everything. And I think that it's not just the professors. I mean, I think society considers that you've studied so much and you publish and you do research, then you must know an awful lot. And yet, I think what we have to realize is that the more we know, the more there is to know. So the university has incredible initiatives for teacher training, which is excellent, and we try to take advantage of that. And I think that we are encouraged to reflect on our practice, to talk to the kids. They're the ones who are really can tell us what things need to be changed. And very often I've gotten new ideas, new perspectives precisely from my master's students when they come and tell me, "Oh, teacher, I tried this." I say, "Wow, why don't you tell us about it and help us learn?" And at least on a personal basis, I'm trying to switch from this teacher mentality that we have of trying to solve problems to try to actually capitalize on strengths. More of instead of a needs-based approach, more of an assets-based approach. And I think that especially in social outreach, that can really be powerful when people feel empowered to find their own solutions. Because as teachers, and I think sometimes as parents, we all think that we have this huge responsibility to solve the problems rather than to, what are you good at, and how could you translate what you're good at into things that perhaps are more challenging and you have more difficulties with. How could you move that and be better at everything you do?
So finally, tell me a little bit about English learning in the university and in Colombia. I know that Colombia has been leading this idea of becoming totally bilingual, becoming the most educated country in Latin America. And how is that being lived within Sabana?
Okay, we have a very strong English and in general foreign languages program. We do have many students that come from bilingual schools, so they are already, they fulfill the language requirements, so sometimes they even go to a third or even a fourth language, which we also offer here. The university has started, especially in its most of its administration and economics programs, to include subjects taught in English by our teachers, so we have training in English and in teaching for the teachers. And I think it's challenging for the students because obviously you can have different levels of English, but I think it's also worthwhile because they really need it. We have been doing some research on student motivation in higher education, and there's sometimes the feeling that students are not interested in learning English. Our research shows that it's not that they're not interested in learning English, it's that they come from a tradition of a little frustration in learning English in their schools. So we need to transform, again, we go to the beginning. We need teachers to transform their teaching so students are motivated, so they're autonomous. And at the university level, we don't have to struggle so much to help kids learn English. The Ministry of Education has really worked hard on creating national programs. And they have very clear objectives. The problem is that they're just not being met. So the level of English we expect of our students when they arrive at the university is not met. So we're starting way, way back, and obviously the process is difficult, and sometimes it's frustrating. But I have hope that all these initiatives being here at TESOL, you'll find public school teachers here as well as private school teachers, university teachers. I think that as the word gets around, we will collectively transform education in Colombia.
Well, Ana Maria, it's been a pleasure. I've been, walking through this university, which is gorgeous, and I believe that you're in the right track, and I enjoyed meeting so many interesting teachers that are willing to transform. So thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure, and I hope that this interview, once it's published at EdTech Times Latin America, more people are going to get interested in what you're doing here. So thank you again for the time.